I first became aware of the importance of this skill set when I went to my 20th high school reunion. I grew up in a farm town in the Central Valley of California. And it was interesting to see, 20 years out, who the most successful person in my class was. It wasn't the valedictorian. It wasn't the kid with the highest SAT scores. It wasn't the editor of the yearbook. It was someone who had been a fairly good student, not outstanding, just good enough, but who even then was an outstanding human being. He was the kind of person who set you at your ease, who was fun to be with, who listened, who cared. 20 years out, he was the senior vice president of the largest cable TV company in America. If you can imagine, this was when cable TV was the hot industry. I don't know if you remember that time. Then I went to my 40th reunion. I got the rest of the story, and it turned out that he had become CEO of a cable TV company, sold it at the peak of the market. I don't know if you remember when there are peaks to markets either. That takes some going back. And today he lives on a golf course in Florida. Now, where I come from, that's considered success. I don't know about here in Cleveland. When I went to Amherst, when I went back east to school, I had another eye-opening experience, and that was that freshman year, there was a kid who lived down the hall who had perfect scores on his SATs. This guy was brilliant, but he had a problem. And everyone on the hall knew what the problem was. He slept till noon. He never went to class. He never did his papers. It took him 8 years to finish his undergraduate degree. So the first guy, my first friend, was very high in emotional intelligence. The guy at Amherst, my fellow student, had a deficiency, and that held him back. It didn't let him mobilize the cognitive abilities, which were outstanding, that he could have brought to bear. I was talking to a member of the board of directors of MIT, and he said, you know, a big part of our job on the board is raising funds. We had a study commission to see who among our graduates were the biggest donors, and we found out that as students, they weren't the outstanding, unbelievable quants, the ones with a 4.0 average at MIT. There were people who did very well, but who had a side life, who were on sports teams, who were leaders in clubs, who were starting their own businesses even as undergrads. These were the people who went on to amass great fortunes. When I was a graduate student at Harvard, there was a study done. It was very interesting. They looked at graduate school admission scores, like the MCATs, in the business school, in the med school, in the law school, and so on. And then they also correlated that with how well people did in their careers. And what they found was, well, let me ask you, what do you guess is the correlation between your graduate school entrance exam scores and how you actually do in the field? Anybody care to hazard a guess? 0. Oh, perfect. That's it. No relationship. No relationship whatever. And that's because those tests are designed to predict how well you'll do your first year in graduate school. It has nothing to do with how well you do in life. If you look at IQ alone, it predicts about 6 to 10% of career success. It predicts basically the job you can get and hold.